It's May 19th, 2019. This is a fishing report for Lake Winnebago for the last couple weeks. I didn't get a report out last week. So I've been out several times, caught fish every day. Most of the trips were short, 90 minutes to 2 hours. And really couldn't put a whole lot together. I'd catch a fish here and a fish there, but didn't really have great success to speak of. That was until late this week, so Thursday and Friday. Thursday I took off work a little bit early and went out. I was planning on fishing all day Friday, so I wanted to pre-fish a little bit to kind of just figure out where I should start on Friday. And I fished the reefs from 24th Street Landing all the way up to Black Wolf. And caught fish in just about every place I stopped. Most of them were 12 or 13 inch fish, but I got a couple 16 inch fish on the reefs near Black Wolf. And all in all, it was a good day. It was very promising, for the next day when I had a lot more time. Fish seemed to be on their summer patterns. They were definitely out there. Not, probably not in the numbers and the size that you normally see, but it just gets better from here. The fish come out of the river. A lot of fish go up the river to spawn, and then they come out of the river, and they kind of disperse from the Fox River and Oshkosh, and they go to their basically summer patterns, which means they're on the reefs or in the mud. The mud bite comes a little bit later. They kind of think a lot of fish go on the reefs, and then I think they're crowded out and they go into the mud, and they're able to find food out there. Friday I went out with my first viewer, Andy. He was first subscriber. Met him at a boat ramp about 3 months into doing my 100 videos, and he introduced himself and got to know him a little bit. So went out with him a couple weeks ago and had a really good time, so we decided to go out again. So we got out a little bit late. We went out I think 9:30, 10 o'clock. I think we got actually on the water. We went out to Long Point from the Black Wolf Landing. And the wind was whipping. It was probably 15 miles an hour, which is a lot out there. So there's guys coming in. They said it was too bumpy out there, so they were coming in as we were going out. And I kind of knew that the wind was going to die down a little later in the day, so I was comfortable going out. It was just a long ride, but once we got out there, it was fine. We actually didn't find fish right away. We went out to Long Point to kind of the standard area. We anchored first and jigged, and then we drifted a little bit, and we really didn't find them, so we decided to drift a little bit more. And they really weren't on their standard spots. They weren't normally you expect with the wind like that they'd be on the high part of the reefs, and they really weren't. They were near the reefs, but they weren't on them. So you're still jigging in 8 feet of water, near the 4 foot top. So they're definitely hanging out closer to the midpoint of the reef. I'm hearing a lot of reports from up on the Wolf River, Fremont North. The white bass are really hopping. A lot of people are catching white bass. They're saying it's the best run in years. So if you got out, great. If you didn't, you probably have like a week to go with peak white bass. They hang around. They come down the river just like walleyes do. When the water gets a little bit warmer, you'll find them shallower, and people target them with spinners over flies. The little demon spinners, red and white demon spinners is what I've heard. I don't do a whole lot of white bass fishing, but that's, I've heard that a few times from a few people, so I think I'm confident that that's really good advice. And just, what I would do is I just drift down the river or slip the river and throw the spinner in the shallows until you find a pot of fish, and then, catch the fish as long as they bite. So Andy is a really good fisherman. His dad was a charter captain on Lake Michigan for some or most of his childhood. I'm not really sure. And he would go out with him and act as a deckhand or drive the boat. So on Lake Winnebago, he really didn't like trolling. He was pretty adamant about not wanting to troll. It's just kind of funny to see. Growing up, my fishing was mostly limited fishing on the East River in Green Bay. It was mostly bullheads and carp. And then every once in a while, my dad would take us perch fishing on the bay. He really enjoyed perch fishing, and my uncles, sometimes I get the opportunity to go out on a boat with my uncles. And my dad bought a boat when we were a little bit older. We did a lot of fishing on a pontoon boat. But there was always, you'd watch the fishing shows and Babe Winkleman or Al Linder, and you just know that there's a lot more techniques and a lot more fish to catch out there. And never really got the opportunity as a kid, and then went to school and started raising a family. I always had a fishing pole in the car, when I heard about a bite, or if I saw a promising piece of river, or for instance, if other people were fishing, I'd go and give it a try, and had a lot of great experiences that way. But when my kids left for school, it's a big part of my life was taking care of the kids, and my responsibilities there were a lot less. And then I decided to quit drinking, and so a lot of the ways I'd spend in my spare time was gone as well. So I really had to fill it with something, and I didn't really know what. I definitely knew I always had the interest in fishing, and so I just made the decision to move to Oshkosh and buy the boat. I bought it in 2013 when I moved up here, and I never really looked back. I had some success catching walleyes right away. Didn't really know what I was doing, but the system is so versatile that you're able to do it. But then you just realize that there's so much more as far as what you have to learn to be consistent catching fish. And it's been, at some points it's been a struggle, and some points it's been really enjoyable, and I wouldn't trade it in at all. Being able to fish with Andy and fish with Matt, the other viewer that I fish with, just learn a ton from watching them and just interacting with them, and it's just so enjoyable. I mean, fishing with people that really know what they're doing is definitely accelerates learning the skill. So, and they're both great guys, and enjoy their company as well. And it wasn't hot and heavy action. We actually did get a limit. We had to keep a couple 13-inch fish to do that, but we got a limit in probably 7-8 hours. Didn't like I said, it wasn't really hot and heavy, but we had a really good time doing it. The wind would die down for a little bit, and then would come up for a little bit, so we had to stay near the reefs and near Black Wolf. But I feel I'm confident that the summer pattern is here. If you normally fish the reefs, I think in the next few weeks you can plan a trip and find the fish. You'll find them. It just gets better from here. So that's the report for today. The walleye bite is heating up. The white bass run is in full swing. It's really a great time to be out fishing. The weather seems to be breaking a little bit, getting warmer. So with this information, let's get out and fish.